Greetings! Hello! Today I'm going to show you how I fertilize my fruit trees organically. It is the end of February and now is an awesome time on Vancouver Island to be fertilizing fruit trees. If you live in a cooler climate, get out there and start fertilizing. I fertilize all of my fruit trees in the same way. It doesn't matter if they're 9 years old or 1 year old, they get the exact same fertilizer. Side note, I am not sponsored to talk about fertilizers. I am being paid $0 for this video. So, without further ado, let's talk about the fertilizer. First and foremost, my number one recommendation for fertilizing fruit trees, if you do nothing else, is give them bone meal. It doesn't matter what company the bone meal is from. It doesn't even matter what the nutrient ratio on the container says. You really want to give your fruit trees bone meal because it promotes fruiting and flowering in fruit trees. It's the same with berries. If you have blueberry bushes, strawberries, any type of berry or fruit, give them bone meal. You won't be disappointed with the results. On a similar note, I like to up the ante even further in promoting fruiting and flowering. Probably bone meal is all you really need for fruiting and flowering, but I like to go one step further and promote fruiting and flowering even further by using some phosphate. This is mineralized phosphate. I have mostly used rock phosphate, but I have used this in the past as well. And I believe they work in similar ways. They also promote fruiting and flowering. And yes, this is an organic product. This particular one apparently is mined in caves. I don't know too much about the process other than what it says on the container, but it is organic and it does work. So whether you use a phosphate, whether it's rock phosphate, mineralized phosphate, or bone meal, highly recommend a substance that is organic, that's going to promote fruiting and flowering in your fruit trees. Next, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite components for all aspects of gardening, whether this is fruit trees, vegetable gardens, you name it, flowers. This substance is something all plants love, and this is, again, not sponsored, this is sea soil. I know this isn't available in all areas of the world, but if you have access to this type of soil, I highly, highly, highly recommend this. Your plants are going to go bananas. It is so crazy, this stuff. So let's get to the nitty-gritty fertilizing. So we're at the base of my apple tree right now. I've got this little shovel. I'm going to dig out just a little deeper into the soil here. I know some people say you should fertilize way, way out here where the drip line is of the plants, where the longest branches are. Personally, that is not what I do. This is a 9-year-old tree. I have never done that, and it produces exceptionally well. So all I do is take my fertilizer, in this case we're going with bone meal, and I put a few handfuls into the planting hole. I actually use fertilizer very sparingly. I see some gardeners on YouTube who go absolutely bananas with it. And all I can say is that for fruit trees, I've done this for 9 years, and you do not need a lot of fertilizer. A few handfuls, even for a mature tree, even for a small tree, is more than enough. Kelp meal promotes resistance to stress in plants, so if there's some crazy weather events or some bug infestations that are trying to happen, the plant has a much better chance of being healthier if you're feeding it foods that are rich in potassium and all of the other micronutrients that are available in a product like kelp meal. So we're going to give the plant a couple handfuls of this. And next we have that mineralized phosphate. Again, rock phosphate works just as well. In my opinion, I know there will be people who totally disagree with this, but I feel like you can use them pretty much interchangeably. I'm just going to give my plant a couple handfuls of this. And next we're topping with sea soil. A few handfuls of sea soil in my little fertilizing trench here. If you don't have access to sea soil, I recommend a homemade compost, a store-bought compost, a manure, something organic that's going to provide a ton of nutrients and micronutrients to your tree. And then I just cover with the original soil. I do not water this in. I live in the Pacific Northwest and we get rain every 2 to 3 days. It is absolutely not necessary to water this in. If I lived in a dry climate, I probably would. That is how I fertilize my fruit trees organically. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon in another video. Bye for now.